Like and subscribe, or this line will hunt you when you go outside. Welcome to Animals Wow TV. Today we'll look at some stories of safari tourists who were in danger when unbelievable things happened. Stay until number 1 for a tiger safari trip that ended in tragedy. A travel bucket list would not be complete without a safari trip. Who wouldn't want an eye-opening expedition that allows you to get up close and dangerously personal with animals in their natural habitats? You get to see unusual sights like this rare baby zebra that has polka dots instead of zigzags. But the operative word there is dangerous. Even when you're on a bus or touring with an experienced guide, animals will always be animals, unpredictable and deadly. Here are 12 examples of safari tourists who were in danger when, and we start with a terrifying chase. We see a group of tourists inside a standard safari jeep and a gigantic African elephant. The elephant aggressively stomps at the front of the jeep. The driver decides to drive away in reverse, but the elephant trumpets loudly and charges at the fleeing vehicle. The other passengers try to also take a video of what's happening, but they're bumped around way too much. They can only hang on for dear life as the elephant knocks the jeep several times. Experts believe that the elephant may be a female that was trying to protect its calf, so it was mock chasing the jeep. If the jeep had not run away, the elephant might have changed her mind and really attacked the vehicle. With its size, it could have easily turned over the jeep and the passengers in it. Lion opens car door. When you go on a safari in a car instead of a tour jeep, you'd feel more safe, right? If you come across a pride of lions, they won't have a chance to jump into the jeep and frighten you, right? Not quite, because they're so big and ferocious. People often forget that lions are just big cats. And like many of our beloved domesticated pets, they can be sneaky. Very sneaky. Take for example this lioness at a safari park in South Africa. She curiously approaches this car and opens the door with her mouth. Fortunately, the passenger taking the video quickly drops the camera and shuts the door and locks it. Bet you didn't know lions can do that, huh? And this wasn't the first time this happened. There was a similar incident in 2009. Although the passenger also managed to shut the door, the curious lion ran after the car as it sped away. A safari warden had to throw stones at the animal to stop it in its tracks. Wildebeest stampedes into car. We can't have a video about safari without mentioning The Lion King at least once. When the film was released in 1994, it got a lot of hype because of how this stampede of wildebeests was animated. Since this was done during the early years of computer animation, the people behind the movie had to essentially create the technology to do it. It took them 3 years to complete it. What was more impressive is how the movie managed to portray the power and frightening aspect of being caught in the middle of the stampede. If you don't believe me, here's a real-life wildebeest stampede. And here's another. Unlike in the movie though, a lion actually starts the stampede, and the result isn't a dead Mufasa, but a damaged car that got in the way of these thundering animals. Cheetah Nuzzles tourist. Here's a video that takes the words up close and personal to a whole nother level. Now, cheetahs have been filmed jumping on and into safari jeeps several times already. They lounge on the jeeps like the big cats that they are. So when the tourists saw 3 cheetahs hunting a gazelle, of course they had to stop and take pictures. When one of the animals jumped on the jeep's hood, the group's guide told everyone to remain calm and, more importantly, to hold still and not make eye contact. But a bolder cheetah jumped into the jeep and began sniffing this college student's head. The girl's head smelled like food or something? Who knows? But anyway, the group, especially this girl, had to remain frozen for 10 minutes before the cheetahs took off and returned to their hunt. That must have been the longest 10 minutes of their entire lives. Impala jumps into car. One of the most famous safari parks in the world is the Kruger National Park in South Africa, mainly because it's where a lot of unexpected animal encounters are filmed. This footage was shot in 2013 when the equivalent of an Impala stampede happened. Well, stampede isn't the right word here because these animals are more about speed than power. But just because they don't have the force of wildebeests doesn't mean their dash isn't as scary. So we see impalas running away from hunting cheetahs when one of them decides that a car's passenger window is a perfect spot to seek shelter. Well, that, or the poor animal was just so scared that it wasn't thinking at all and just accidentally ran into the car. Anyway, the people in the car were understandably freaked out. Imagine having a big, skittish animal with long legs suddenly jumping into your car. The cheetahs eventually lost interest in the impala or found another target because they run off somewhere else. We don't see in the video just how the passenger in the car opens the door and lets the impala out, but we do see the animal calmly walking away now that the danger's gone. The moral of the story: always keep your windows closed when on a safari tour. You'll never know what'll jump in and sit with you. Rhino Rams Car. When we think of safari, we usually only think of Africa, but other countries also have safari parks. Here's one in Puebla, Mexico called the Africam Safari. It's actually a private zoo that was opened to the public in 1972. The owner wanted to create a zoo without cages, so he recreated the natural habitats of his animals. He died 4 years after his zoo opened to the public, but his dream is still going strong today. Africam has 9 different habitats, including one based on the Yellowstone National Park. The zoo has a lot of signs reminding visitors to close the windows of their vehicles and not disturb animals. But if the animal is this grumpy male rhinoceros, a closed window isn't much of a deterrent. We see the rhino repeatedly ramming an SUV's door. Either it doesn't get what it wants, or it gets more irritated. It places its head under the rear bumper and lifts the vehicle off the ground. Park workers stand at the ready, but even they know that it's dangerous to even get near the animal at this point. The driver tries to move off, but the rhino chases it while continuing to lift it off the ground. The park workers run after both of them. The attack was probably prompted by irritation due to sexual frustration. At that time, a nearby female rhino was in heat, but park attendants had separated the two until the female's heat was over. We're halfway through. Are you liking this video? Then please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel. Remember to hit the notification button for regular updates of our informative and exciting animal videos. Hippopotamus terrorizes tourists. Hippos may look like bumbling creatures that love to yawn a lot, but don't let that big mouth fool you. Well, actually, don't look away from that mouth. It's big enough to swallow a canoe. It's powerful enough to break a boat in half. A hippo can be a big threat to tourists, whether they're on land or in the water, especially when in the water. A Florida woman was on a tour to celebrate her birthday in 2018 when she and her husband came across a hippo while in a canoe. The hippo capsized the canoe and bit the woman's leg and broke her femur. But even if you're in a motorboat, you're still not safe. These tourists got the shock of their lives when a hippo dove into the water and emerged near their boat. It continues to follow them, almost capsizing the boat at one point, before the boat manages to outrun it. It's almost like Jaws, only with a vicious hippo instead of a shark. Giraffe blocks Jeep's way. In the wild, herbivores are usually considered tame prey. Ha! Tell that to a giraffe. And this group of tourists. This is one adventure that went from tame to Jurassic Park terror the next. It happened during a jungle tour at Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya. The tourists had been observing a few giraffes peacefully grazing, but then one of the animals suddenly turned its attention to the group and started to attack their Jeep. Like in our first video, the vehicle goes in reverse to get away from the animal. But as the vehicle speeds away, the long-legged animal easily gallops beside it and actually gains enough speed to overtake it and block its way. At one point, one of the passengers tries to scare the animal away by slapping her hands and shouting. But the giraffe continues to chase the group until the video ends. Lions lick water off tent. One way to really immerse yourself in a safari trip is to pitch a tent and camp in a safari park overnight. You probably won't be able to sleep with owls hooting or lions prowling outside your tent at night. But nothing beats waking up to lions licking morning dew off your tent. Wait, what? These campers who stayed at the Transfrontier Park in Botswana thought just that when they saw a pack of lions outside their tent. The lions must have been really thirsty, and look, here's a big human thing with water. No one would have believed their story if they hadn't filmed the whole thing. Instead of panicking and shouting up a storm, the campers remained calm. One of them actually said that it was a privilege to see the lions doing that. After all, not a lot can say their tents have been blessed with lion spit. Tiger chews on rear view mirror. India's safari tours often come with tiger encounters. To make the tours more interactive and exciting, passengers ride open vehicles so tourists get a 360 view of the park scenery and the animal's quirks. Like this curious tiger that decided a rear view mirror makes for a great snack. This footage was taken in the Umred Karhadanya Wildlife Sanctuary. The tourists have been warned to stay still as the tiger bats at the mirror and nibbles on it. Then it circles the jeep and even sniffs at the tourists before walking off. But before the humans can heave a sigh of relief, another big cat approaches the group. Tigers are apex predators that are also known to attack and eat humans. Rhino chases man up a tree. Okay, technically this story involves a local and not tourists, but it shows you what might happen if you get out of your car while on a tour. Plus, a group of safari tourists at the Kaziranga National Park in the Assam region of India witnessed it, so it's still all about tourists being in danger too. Anyway, here's that terrifying moment when a female rhino chases a man up a tree to protect her baby. Any animal lover will know that mothers will attack if they feel that their young are threatened. Even as the man scrambles up the tree, the rhino doesn't let up. She lurches forward and tries to shake him off the tree by ramming against the trunk. The rhino only lets up when she knows that her calf has crossed the road and walked into the bushes. Tiger mauls woman. So far, we've shown videos of tourists in danger, but managing to escape harm because of their quick-thinking guides, or personal luck, or common sense to stay still. But here's a bunch of tourists that forgot the most basic rule when on a safari, and that rule is to follow the safety rules. When the safari says don't get out of your vehicle, don't get out, and here's why. This woman going through the Beijing Safari Park in China got out of her car for just a few seconds, but this moment was enough for a tiger to maul and drag her away into its enclosure. The woman's mother panicked and chased after the tiger to try to rescue her, and this led to the old woman's death. The first woman was injured but survived the ordeal. Investigations forced the park to close, but investigators noted that the woman breached safety rules despite warnings when she left her car because she was carsick. On the other hand, the woman sued the park saying she was never informed of the rules. Online netizens, though, sided with the investigators and criticized the woman. What are your thoughts? Share your opinions with us. And there you have it, our feature on safari tourists who were in danger when unbelievable things happened. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like button and to subscribe to our channel. And while you're here, check out our video on the top 10 near-death animal encounters.